Okay, and welcome back to my show for week number 3. All right, I'm so glad that you guys decided to continue with me. Um, Please, like I said before, if you like my show, if you love my show, uh, please subscribe. Tell everybody that you know, especially people that want to try to benefit, because everything is about attitude. Subscribe to my show, SC Honesty. This is show number 3, the third week, and I hope you enjoy it. As I said previously, we're going to talk about dating. Dating is imperative because of, uh, as I said, that your dating experience will be a facsimile of your marriage. Period. I have no questions about that. I'm like 1,000,000% sure about that. Some people do make changes and things and maybe smooth it out, and that can happen as it grows. But while I'm talking about the dating period, because men and women need to be aware while they're dating of a lot of different things and to know when to let go. We're going to talk about um, dating. Dating is very serious too. Now, let me make clear on this definition. I think now dating means I'm just seeing whomever. Uh, this person is, I'm not exclusive. Well, I'm talking about dating exclusively. The courtship period, the trial period. I don't even know what you call it now. You know, but anyway, there is a period before marriage that you are have made the commitment to be exclusive, and meaning that you intend for this to be your mate and whatnot. So that's what I'm talking about. If you are dead serious about a relationship, so that's what this dating means. Okay. All right. So in the period of dating, again, as I talked about, love is knowing yourself. It is imperative to know yourself. Know what you have to offer. Are you willing to give your whole? Okay. So that's important because dating builds the foundation of a relationship. Dating builds the foundation of a marriage. Okay? It all starts with when you started liking each other, when you fell in like and fell in love. Okay? So that's the difference. And what happens is people don't pay enough attention. I'm going to say that one more time. People don't pay enough attention when they're dating. Know yourself, love yourself, so that you can use discretion. Okay? There's nothing wrong with using discretion. If someone uh, comes off to you as a jerk, uh, snobby, not what you want, it's okay to use discretion. If you don't want someone that smokes, you don't want someone that cusses, it's okay to use discretion. If a man, now this is a big one because I hear so many women call men weak, punk, they can't handle it, because a man will say he does not want to date a woman with children. Now, we're not getting off into men that make children and not be responsible. We're talking about men with no kids that may not want to date a woman with children. It is his discretion to say, I don't want a woman with children. Women with children, I am not slighting you in the slightest bit. I'm not putting you down. I'm not saying anything is wrong with you. All I am saying is that a man has a right to make that choice. And let me say this too and make it clear. A woman has the same right to make that choice if she wants to date a man with children. 9 times out of 10, it's worse if women do it because you might be mostly dating a man that doesn't take care of his children. That's a no-no. So that's some of the red flags we're going to talk about. But when you see red flags, acknowledge it. So that's what we're talking about, knowing yourself. Okay? So know yourself. Know what you want. Know who you want. Know how you like them. Know what you like about them. Know what you don't like about them. Know if you can tolerate it or not. Because it's okay if someone has habits, ways, characters that it's not okay with you. That is perfectly okay to dissolve a courtship or a dating process if people do not possess those qualities. Now, having said that, know the difference between preference and moral standards. Now, I just said, yeah, it's okay to use discretion. Yes, it is. But I think sometimes, especially with women, I think sometimes y'all want your preference in every last bit of it. Don't want to give way to none of it because you feel like you're settling or whatever. That is not settling if every man does not possess all of your preferences. Okay? Now let me try to make it make sense. That is not settling. Okay? When you have a preference, let's say light skinned, skinny, small breasted, big breasted, buffed, thin man, fat woman, whatever your preference is, that is fine. Now, if you don't like either of those, I feel like, and this is just my opinion, but I'm just saying maybe think about it. I feel like that may be something that you can possibly deviate from and maybe give something that you thought you wouldn't like a try. Maybe you don't like fat men because you go to the gym all the time and your body is fine like a Coke bottle, ladies. But are you going to judge a man, because he may not want to go to the gym? And listen, it's fine if you do. If you don't want that, you don't want that. But I'm just saying it could be possible to give that a chance. So one of the differences is that type of preference as opposed to a moral standard preference. Moral standards, I would not come off of. None of it. That may be settling. I will never settle on my moral standards. If my moral standards are I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I don't want a woman because of that, that's fine. Now, in fact, I used to be like that. Now, I really did not think I would date a woman that drinks. It's just, wasn't my thing. But I did go for the drinking. I don't consider myself as settled. What I realized is, okay, every woman that drinks is not an alcoholic. Because that was my misconception. That comes from always seeing my father drunk and some other members of my family. And I just thought drinking was associated with drunkard. So that's something I relaxed in. Fact, it can be okay when a woman gets tipsy. I learned that. But it's okay. So, but even still, if that's something you can't deal with, that's fine. Your moral standards are, how another person may treat somebody. If you don't want a snooty, snobby person that thinks they're better than anybody else, that's a moral standard. God. If you don't want somebody that believes in God, that's a moral standard. That's something you don't have to come off of. There's just know the difference between what's important, because you meet somebody and they just decide they're going to rob a bank. I don't know. Do you love them enough that you really want to try that? That's a moral standard. Exit. Bing, everything you own in the box to the left. Ain't that what she said? But I'm just saying, just know the difference between sometimes your preference and true moral standards. Because there are some standards I will not come off of. Like I've told you previously from last videos I've done, I will not cheat. That is a moral standard of mine. That is a moral standard of mine, of which I know I will not do. Because as I said, I decided as a young boy, I wouldn't do that to a woman. I decided as a young boy the man that I wanted to be. You might think that's impossible, but it is. I used to remember friends would tell me, man, you were so wise for your age. Well, maybe that is. I'm going to tell you a story, and it's a true story. Again, talking about moral standards. I was hanging with some friends. We all got in the car, and they ended up pulling over behind Hills in South Park. And this has been, I might have been 15 or 16 maybe, so it's been some time ago. So they pulled up in Hills in South Park. It was, I guess I may not use names, but anyway, it was friends. It was about, let's see, M, D, M, Y, and myself. So it was about 5 of us, okay? They pull up behind this dumpster, and they put out a bag of weed. Well, I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do anything. I'm not perfect, again, but that's me choosing to be responsible. But they pulled out this bag of weed, and I don't do it. And so there was a big dude in there. Why? Yeah, he's big fella. Like, man, I'm built probably smaller than I am today. So anyway, they rolled these joints and everything, and I said, well, look, I'm sitting between my best friend over here and Y was over here, okay? Now, so I'm sitting right here in the middle. It was one of them old Monte Carlos with the bucket seats. And so I said, I'm not smoking anything. So M got out the car and said, here, man, well, you can leave, and pulled the little bucket seat up. And so Y over here grabbed my arm and said, man, sit your blankety blank down. You gonna smoke it, or I'm gonna you up. So I'm just looking at him, and it's like I said, hey, he was big. He could have whooped my behind. I know that. I didn't even have a problem with it. But was I scared? No. See, there's a difference in knowing you might get your butt whooped. Okay? And that's okay. I was okay with it. I remember looking at him, I said, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if it's going to be me or you hitting the ground, but I'm going to tell you one thing, one way or the other. I'm not smoking it. I'm getting out of this car, and whatever it's going to cost me, that's what I'm going to do. And so my friend was just like, man, just chill, let it be. He got on up because, like I said, M had already pulled the seat back and let me exit. My point to that story, and that's a story I always share with my kids. My point to that story is that you don't have to let anybody make you do anything you don't want to do. Are you willing to pay the cost? So when you're dating, do you want to pay the cost or don't you? So you don't let no man, no love, no matter how good the sex may be or whatever, we're going to talk about that in a minute, you don't let nothing let you make a decision about you except you. And that's also a good lesson for teenagers. We try to encourage teenagers to not yield to peer pressure. That's a good lesson. So y'all tell them that story that I told you. It is a true story. And I've often taught my own children that even if you are under duress, you have a choice to make. So in my eyes, there is no reason, if you don't want to be immoral. Nobody can make you rob anybody. Nobody can make you hurt somebody else. You have to choose that no matter what the circumstances are. Okay? Even if you're willing to die. So this is how I'm talking about moral standards. Okay? Moral standards are important. So you don't let anybody take that away from you. Okay. So now, so that's pretty much the difference in dealing the money, the moral standards, and not. If it's does he make enough money? Does he dress nice? What he look like? Light skin, dark skin? Does it really make that much of a difference? Those things I can kind of maybe let go of. Money is important, but it's not so important that I think a person should be judged by it. And let me clear this up. And I hope no one gets offended. Of course, a woman may not want to date a man that is content with being the hamburger flipper at McDonald's. And that's okay. If that's what you want to be, understand that may knock you out of the selection of many women. Now, if you have goals of becoming a manager, regional manager, going up to corporate, that's different. But I am saying to women and to men, we don't have to date anybody that wants to be stagnant in life and not move forward. That's not what I'm talking about in judging somebody by money or materialistic. That's somebody that has made up their mind, this is where it's going to be, and that's it, and you already know that's not going to take you too far. Okay? So, along with that, when you're dating, talk about things that are important. This is how we talked about previously in marriage. The communication will be the life or death of your marriage. Well, that's true. Talk about things that are important when you're dating. Debt. See, women sometimes will judge by their money. But I'm going to tell you, there's oftentimes women bring a lot of debt with them. Now, I'm talking about financial debt. Okay? We're not talking about baggage from hurt and things like that. I'm talking about financial debt. And a man or a woman, if it may be, but a lot of times this pressure is on men. A man has a right to not date a woman if she has a lot of debt. $5, $6, $7, $8, $10,000. May not be necessarily a whole lot, but a man still has the right to choose, if he wants to date that type of a woman or not, because he could be responsible for that. He may fall in love and feel like, I'm going to do anything for my wife, and if you like me, I will show a woman when I'm dating her the type of husband I was going to be. And that's what I did when I dated. So if I wasn't going to help you clear your debt, it was best for me to move on, because that's something I wasn't going to do. Okay? Now, I did do it under the circumstances, but I'm saying a man has a right, oftentimes, to choose if he wants to do that or not. And so does a woman. If a man has a whole lot of debt, you don't want to come together and combine that and use your money that way. Make a choice rather to date and say, hey, you clear that up, and then we'll get more serious. And that's okay. Okay? So now, let's talk about raising children. And I'm trying to keep the time frame going now and not elaborate too long on one subject. So raising children is highly essential. Let's even talk about if you want children or do not want children. Because if you are dead set that you do not want children, it is okay to convey that to your potential mate. You be honest, you let them know that you do not want children, and they should never expect anything more. Now I'm going to say this to the potential mate, man or woman. Don't date someone that told you clearly that they do not want children, and some people have gone on to get married, and then it becomes a problem. You can't do that. No, 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 you cannot do that. If I am honest with you in the courtship, dateship process, you have no complaints if you stayed with me, married me, under those circumstances. So what I'm saying is talk about these things when you're dating and know what you want. And I'm going to also say this while we're talking about it. I've heard a lot of women say that their friends have judged them because they may say they don't want children. I've heard women myself say, and men too, say that I don't want kids because I'm selfish. I want to travel. I want to do things. I want to see the world. Hey, stop lying to yourself, because kids are costly. And they have every right to feel that way without anybody trying to make them feel bad. I really repulses me. It really repulses me when people say things like, oh, you don't want to have children, you selfish, you just not going to be anything, you just want to think about yourself. Okay. When it's me and just me, I have a right to just think about myself. And I have a right to say, I don't want children because I want to do this, I want to do that. Because I'm telling you, with 2 children of myself, now I wanted children, but having 2, it changes your life. It don't just change your life, it changes your pockets. Let's be for real. Children are costly. They're time consuming. You know, you have to give all of your energy to children. Now, if you want to be a parent, that's fine and that's dandy. But stop bashing people that say they do not want to be a parent. Now, if you're dating somebody and they told you they didn't want children and y'all ended up marrying anyway and they changed their mind, hey, that's cool too. Maybe it might work out for you, maybe it don't. But 9 times out of 10, if you meet somebody that says, I do not, unequivocally, I do not want children, it is best you move on. Don't pursue it. Remain friends if you can, or just don't even have a connection at all. But one way or the other, do not pursue that to marriage, because you do not have the right to get married and complain that, well, I want children now. You know, no, they already told you they didn't. So don't do that. So I'm talking about these things because it has happened for real. Okay? So don't do that. Okay? Now, discipline the children. If you want children, talk about your disciplinary ways. Some people believe in spanking, some people don't. Whichever you believe in, that's your belief. I'm not going to say it's right or wrong. Of course, I was raised with the belt in the hand, and maybe a couple other things. I know my brother was. My brother was raised with the baseball bat. My mother raised 4 boys and had to do the best she could. So I don't necessarily condone everything that transpired, but I am saying that if you believe in spankings and they don't, there may be something that you can have a problem with. And it's okay to part company. If this is also a moral standard issue. It's okay to part company if y'all cannot come to that, because you don't want to get married and see that uh, this is like just really beyond what you can do. Some people get very, very hurt when they see children get spanked. So you don't want to put yourself in that position and arguing all the time. Why are you hitting my child? Why are you doing this? I think that's cruel. Okay, you knew this when you was dating. So you can't do that and then end up saying that this is something you was unaware of. So the dating process is serious, folks. The dating process is serious, okay? I'm trying to help you to understand that this is more serious than most of the time we let on, okay? So if somebody has a way and if they told you, I believe in spankings, and they're not willing to just resort to talking or time out and things like that, if they tell you, no, I believe in spanking, move on. Don't be afraid to say, well, this is not going to happen. Because at this point, they're already giving you a fair warning of who they are. Okay? So that's why dating is so essential. Okay. So, the other part of dating is to show who you are. So one of the things is what you're trying to realize is the qualities that a person possesses. If a person does not possess the qualities that you like, and qualities is important, and it is essential to dating. It is essential to your marriage. Because like I said, that's the foundation. They're showing you who they are. If you're dating a man, you come in his house. Maybe you don't live together. You come in his house all the time and it's dirty. Or women, I mean, you always go in her house, bras and panties always laying everywhere. It's dirty. There's a quality that you may not like. If during the course of your dating process, they never fixed that, never straightened up, and you get married anyway, what can you say? Because you saw it. And especially if you live together and saw it. So that's why I say your marriage is going to be an exact facsimile of your dateship, okay? Your courtship. It is. So don't see things in your courtship and then complain about them in your marriage. But don't do things that you see in your courtship and then expect it to change or be different when you get married. Most of the time, it is what you see is what you get. I don't like a lot of adages, but that may be a truth. What you see is what you get most of the time. You know, so especially, like I said, when they've given it to you and let you see how they are. And so when you think about all of that, you know, make sure you see the qualities that you like. If a man don't date you, if a woman never wants to do anything while you're dating, it's okay to say, okay, let's dissolve this relationship. I need to move on. If you don't see the qualities that you like, it's okay to move on. It is not okay to get married anyway and then you just hoping to change. A lot of people just simply don't change. And that's just the truth, okay? So it's not okay to get married and then make issue of it. Well, you knew this before you dated, okay? This is where the honesty, again, this is why I like the name of the show, SC Honesty. Be honest all the time with yourself. Those are red flags, people. Those are red flags. Every red flag does not have to be egregious. It doesn't have to be that they're a bad person. That red flag may be that they possess some very major qualities that you don't like. And that's okay. It's okay to say that I don't want this because this is who you are and that's not me. So don't be afraid to let go at that time. And this is even after you have fallen in love. Okay? So the thing is, do this, and that's what, be honest. Your whole life, be honest with yourself. When you date somebody, when you friendships, be honest. Because most of the time when you lying, it's not even about fooling the person that you lied to. The main person you really fooled is yourself. Because you were dumb enough to believe your own lie. And some people actually begin to believe it to really think it happened. But be honest with yourself. So when you see these things that people possess in the dateship, don't pursue it because, well, they're just human. Well, they'll change. Well, no. No. It's okay to part company if you want to. All I'm saying is that if you pursue it anyway and you get married and these issues come back up, you don't have a right to complain. I've been there, I'm telling you. You do not have a right to complain. You saw it and you ignored it. Dating is so crucial. It is the one most important step to indicate what your marriage is going to be like. Okay? So when you see poor qualities in people, it's okay to dissolve that relationship. It is okay. Okay? And I'm just saying that. And I'm saying that in the most loving way, humble way. And it's okay. Let them down. And to the one that got rejected for that, are you going to change? Are you going to become a better person? Maybe you can be a better person for the next person. Because this person already showed you was unclean. You never like to do anything. You don't listen. All of these qualities that you see while you're dating. So these are things that people just really negate when they are dating because they fell in love. I don't want to say so-called. They really do. They really have fallen in love. Because some things you don't see until afterwards, after you've fallen in love. But what I'm saying is keep your mind open. And at any point you see that something goes south, the way he treats you, the way she treats you, if he ever opens the door, and I always open the door for my wife. It was essential that I open the door, and I insist that I open the door. But if that's something you ladies ain't going to make a big deal of, that's your thing. It ain't a big thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But if he treats you good, otherwise, hey, all these other things, that's fine. But either one of you, male or female, if you see the qualities you do not like, dissolve that courtship. I don't care if you've been together 2 years, 3 years. If something becomes a problem and it does not change, dissolve that courtship. Okay, so now I want to talk about the way ladies reject men. Okay? This is serious because men are actually the ones that get all the pressure is typically on men. We're typically the ones that's got to make the first move to date, to get married, do anything. We're known to be the protectors, and we are. And I'm not complaining about that. But what I am saying is, ladies, have some respect for us. Do y'all understand the pressure it takes for a man to approach you? I mean, especially when y'all are so freaking beautiful that we just, oh man, we're frazzled. We go through a lot. many times to make the first move. And we're thinking, man, what if? We do. So y'all do not make it easy. First of all, because you're beautiful. And that's a lot of pressure for a lot of us men. Okay? So the next thing I want to say is that maybe the man, and we're talking about initial approaches here, okay? Maybe the man is not what you like. Again, we talked about the looks, and maybe you don't see what you don't like. But don't tell the man that. Women, y'all forget that we have feelings. I'm not making an excuse, but sometimes I do wonder if that is the way men are, like so much inconsistency with dating and being faithful. I wonder if it came from a dating process. I don't know. I need men to input and talk to me. Text me back or write me back, email me. I'm not sure how this works all the way, but I'm gonna get this together, and I want men to communicate with me on why maybe are you afraid to commit to women and get married and mistreat women sometimes. I'm not making an excuse, but sometimes I do wonder if it comes from the courtship, because I can tell you that I was traumatized trying to date. You may not believe it, but I was really traumatized. Now, something's going to kill me? No, but it hurt me really bad because women were really cruel to me. If you're going to reject a man, you don't have to say, you ain't my type. Go on, keep moving. Nah, you ugly. You don't have to do a man like that. Just say, no thank you, and let it be. Now, men, when a woman tells you no, let it be. Now, some of us can be so want to persevere. There are sometimes you just don't need to persevere. I know you see a woman you may want, and some men end up getting them anyway. That may be the fortune of some of you, but a lot of us don't. The woman says no, I'm gone. Because one thing I don't play is I don't play the cat and mouse. I don't chase a woman. So whatever a woman says to me, that's my word, and I'm going to let it be. Okay? And if she says no, for whatever reason, I'm gone. I'm not asking you again. And maybe during that moment, I might, hey, you sure? Da-da-da-da. But if we part company, and even if we become friends, I'm not asking you again. I've been through that. It don't work. And I didn't like it. So I'm going to, say that let men down easy, but be firm about your answer. So when I say let them down easy, but be firm, don't play games with men. Don't play mind games. Don't say things that might indicate maybe, maybe not. Be definite with your answer. And if you don't want anything to do with a man, don't do anything with him. And many times, honestly, in most cases, sometimes you can't even really be friends. Because sometimes men see that as, okay, well, I still got a chance. She's talking to me. Y'all don't believe it, but it is true. So sometimes you just have to cut it all off, because sometimes men just don't get it. Okay? If a woman tells you that she does not want you, let it be. But women, you do not have to be so negative to us. So I'm going to share a little bit of my experiences when I was dating. And trying to date, actually. And this has been about 5 times. And the cuts are so deep that it did. It made me insecure. It made me feel like, okay, well, I'm not anybody's type. That's the type of feeling sometimes women give some men. And maybe that's why men become cocky and overconfident. Well, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's why they don't care. They just want to hit it and quit it and do, because they got tired of being rejected. I don't know this, but I'm just thinking of some probabilities. Men chime in and let me know. Maybe that's the reason for some of our attitudes. But I'm going to tell you some of my stories is that, one, without using any names, I tried to date one woman, and all of these women were very, very pretty, by the way. I mean, very pretty. dark skin to light skin. So, boom. I happen to like dark skinned women, but I'm not gonna say that I even had success with them. In fact, I'm going to tell you one right now. One woman told me uh, that she would not date a light skinned man no matter what. No matter what. And I'm like, man, I'm really not, I don't care. I'm not dating a light skinned man. Now, I did the stupid thing. At one point, the woman had gotten married and to a dark skinned man. He was handsome and everything, but he dogged her, beat her, did everything. It was cool. Cruel, I mean. And my dumb self even went back afterwards, when they got the divorce, that, hey, can I get another chance? So that's when I said I would learn. When they say no, just let it be. She said, no, I told you I would never date a light-skinned man. I don't care what happened in my marriage. I will not date a light-skinned man. All right, that's cool. That's your prerogative, and that's cool. But I'm just saying, watch how you handle men. Another woman told me that, Sean, you too nice for me. I was like, what? What you want? Somebody's gonna beat you upside your daggone head? Somebody's gonna knock you around or what? Grab that self and thuggish. So if you want a thug, mess with a thug. If you want a gentleman, look for a gentleman, because they don't intermix and they don't interchange. And let me retract that a little bit, because let me tell you this: I may not walk around grabbing myself and walking all cool and with my pants hanging down. I'm a square. But let me tell you something. Mess with my woman. Mess with my children. Mess with me. When you cross a path with me that really is offensive, that you threatening me or my wife, oh, you're going to see a thug come out. But until then, I don't have to present myself as a thug. Capiche? Okay. So that's what I'm saying. So we ain't got to do all this, man, to impress women, to prove our point, our manhood. We can be normal, but when you cross a line, you're going to see a whole different SC. You're going to see a whole different SC, okay? So, women told me I was too nice. One woman outright said, well, you just ugly. Well, okay, and she was beautiful. That was the light-skinned woman. She was beautiful. And it's just crazy. I even had a female friend that tried to encourage this girl to date me. Because one time I went up to a register when we worked at a certain place, and my friend told me, hey, so-and-so, when you came to my register and you walked away, she said that you tried to date her. I said, yeah, I did. She called me ugly, but she said, well, I want you to know, SC, that I told her you was a great guy and you was a great catch. And I know that you was a type of guy that would treat a woman right. And my friend, and we ended up being best friends, by the way, but my friend, the one I tried to date, told my other friend that, no, he's just too ugly for me. Hey, that's your preference. That's fine. Women have a right, and men do too. Have a right. Some men might think, hey, you too ugly for them, and that's just their preference too. So that's what we have to put into perspective, okay? Now, I even had a woman tell me one time, you're a real nice guy, but I want somebody finer. You see, my whole point is that women, y'all can be hard on a man sometimes. And I just wonder if this is why men have been through things. They may not be as expressive as I am, and maybe know how to convey their feelings as I do. So maybe they took it out as being, I don't care, I don't give about women, I'm just going to do this, hit it and quit it. That's all it's about. I don't know, I'm just asking. So I do want men's input to let me know about this subject matter. Is that why sometimes we men are very nonchalant with women and sometimes callous with women and their feelings? So, and one more Uh, my favorite rejection, even though like it wasn't great, but I had a woman, another beautiful light skinned woman. Um, she told me, she said, "SC, you are a super duper nice guy." And she said, "You are a Bentley with one tire missing." And I was like, "Okay, what is that?" She said, "Finances." So I was sitting there for a minute, like, okay. That was her opinion. That's how she felt. Now, my thinking is, at this point in time, you was really no better off than me. I was a manager at at a Arby's restaurant. And of course, we talking about younger days, in the 20s. And that's how we met. I met her at the drive-thru. You was in a beat-up Mustang and whatnot. You just looked good. And we became friends. All these women I really had pretty much a fairly close association with as friendship wise. But yeah, she said you're like a Bentley with one tire missing, and that tire was money, and could not give me a chance because of that. So the bottom line is, okay, reject the man if you want to, but don't be so negative. You don't have to be hard. Get away. Ooh, you just, you know. Because we ain't talking about the people, the man that come up with a greasy jerk curl. Hey, sisters, how you doing? You know, we're talking about men that's really trying to be good character. Okay? We're talking about men that's really trying to, potentially, because in my case, to any of those women, had I had a chance, I was going to be a good man to them. I told you, I'd already made up my mind as a young boy that I was going to be a good man. In fact, that's one of the red flags. I talked about dating, because this is my second marriage, and I talked about dating. And a lot of things occurred when I was dating the first time to where it shouldn't have happened. And I did anyway. So I can tell you that those rejections did play a part in my insecurity. So that's why I'm wondering why if some men, instead of just, being more reserved as I became, and I was hesitant to talk to women after that. I really didn't do much. From that point up to 25, from 25 to 30, I didn't do much. I was scared, not even playing. But that was because of the impact of my dating process, or attempted dating, I should say. Attempted dating. And it didn't work out. So I do wonder, is that why some men are the way they are with women today? So men, hey, if you're listening, talk to your girl. What's going on now? Let's be vulnerable. Let's be vulnerable. It's okay. Because this could also, if women could tell us, okay, well, they can help us be stronger at this point in time. Especially if you're already married. And if you're in an exclusive relationship. Talk to her. Let her know what's happening. Everybody give me some feedback on this subject matter of dating. But those are just things that you do. Okay, so I want to talk about red flags. When you see red flags when you're dating, now we was talking about some of the qualities and casual red flags, but those are still red flags. But if somebody shows you an egregious red flag, a cheater, if the man cheated on you, the woman cheated on you while you dated, why did you get married anyway? Why did you get married anyway? I almost want to say that you deserve what you got. I'm not going to say that because I don't want a cavalier attitude about this matter. But you knew. You saw this. Maybe you gave them another chance and they said they was going to change. Now this is still while you're dating. But they didn't. I know women that have dated men and they cheated on them the whole dating dateship, and you still marry them. Young people, people who are in the dating process now, please do not ignore those red flags. If a man or woman cheats on you while you're dating, it is very, very likely they're going to cheat when they get married. It is very likely, it's very rare that them circumstances will change. If you can't communicate properly, if too much time, even if they're not cheating, but there's too much time unaccounted for. Red flags that you see that you do not like in your courtship, acknowledge those red flags. If a person says things, doesn't respect you while you're dating, that's a red flag. If a man, we talked about acknowledging each other's feelings in your marriage. If he don't acknowledge your feelings, if she don't acknowledge your feelings while you're dating, she ain't going to acknowledge them. He ain't going to acknowledge them when you're married. So keep all of that in mind. So my time is running out, but one thing I did want to talk about too is that get to know each other first, okay? Get to know each other mentally, emotionally, even spiritually, intellectually, before you have sex. This is imperative, people, because we don't realize sex has an impact on us, and it has more control on us than we would ever, probably ever admit to. Sex is powerful, and especially when you get good sex. Women in particular, because women tend to think that, well, I gave him a special part of me, and this should make things. No. For most men, either he likes you or he don't. Sex is not going to change his mind. But before you, let's say dating, we're talking about dating. And you've been dating 6 months. Don't have sex with that man. Okay? That is not something that should be used as a measure of whether you're going to keep him or not. So then you might be saying, well, what if I get him and he's not good? Okay, well, I don't feel that sex is a commodity. I don't feel that that man or that woman is a commodity. So it's not something that you try before you buy. What I do believe is that you can work with it, and 9 times out of 10, you can make it better. Do things and create. So now size and everything, women are going to get into. We're not going to get that in depth with it, but you have to use your own judgment. All I'm saying is that sex will change how you feel about somebody. And it can make you feel like you're in love when indeed you're not, because you have good sex. And I've seen situations where a man terribly mistreats a woman, but she'll say, well, I like his sex. Okay. If you're going to be sexmatized to that extent, that's on you. But the reason I say this for last and to say that, don't let that be your deciding factor, because a lot of relationships are actually ruined by sex because people are making decisions based on sex. Other things too, looks and everything that doesn't matter. But sex is powerful. So try to get to know somebody intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, mentally first, before you check out the sexual prowess. Okay? That's important. So going back to what I said in the last video, talking about dating, your mind is the most powerful thing in your marriage. Your mind is the most powerful thing you have, period. Use your mind while you're dating. Sex will influence your mind. Don't even say that it won't. It can and it will. So do these things before Try to do it. I'm just encouraging you. Wait till you get married. Really, that's what I'm not ashamed to even tell you. To wait till you get married. Uh, you know, uh, be honest with you and want some transparency. I've only been with 3 women in my whole life. One, two, three. I don't have a roster of women. I'm not ashamed of that. So I will encourage you to wait until you get married if you can. I've had some women say, that's a long time. I know men are going to say, what? you, I know. I ain't even going to talk to the men. But listen, yes, I will. Try it. Respect that woman. Let her know that you want to respect her mind. Respect her body. Get to know her intellectually first. But women, if a man pressures you and you told him you want to wait, if he keeps pressuring you, he does not love you. Any man that loves a woman will keep her interest at heart. She's already told you, I want to wait till I get married. Don't press the issue. Okay? So respect her. Let her know who you are. Like I said, your dateship is the foundation of your marriage. Okay? The mind is powerful, folks. Use discretion when you're dating. Look for the red, don't look necessarily, but when you see the red flags, do not ignore them. Okay? I'm telling you, please, I hope you enjoy my show. I love that you come back for me for my 3rd show and our 4th show. We're going to talk about This Is My Space. Yeah, we're going to talk about This Is My Space next week. Okay? So, have a good day. Enjoy wherever you are. Please subscribe to my channel. Please tell other people about me. SC Honesty. Okay? Peace. Be cool.